Recently, I had a comment that was posted on one of my YouTube videos that it was kind of disappointed that I didn't do more videos. And the real reason is I really haven't had time. I probably will get back to them soon, but right now, uh, I've got other things in my life that I'm more interested in. But I did come across the fact that I had made a lot of Facebook Live videos, and there was a lot of good information in them that some of it wasn't in the videos that I had currently listed. So what I decided to do was list these to my YouTube channel. And I hope you enjoy them. I hope you find more knowledge in them. And also, if you're not a subscriber, well, just go ahead and hit that subscribe button and hit the bell so you'll be notified. You select all. And if you like them, give them a big thumbs up. I hope you enjoy.
What we're going to cover today is scrap copper. Now, I never know if I'm getting any type of comments a lot of times. Maybe I might get some today. My wife can kind of try to watch that a little bit. But anyway, and it's going to be jumpy. That's a normal thing for mine, and we'll probably have other technical difficulties. But this past week, or probably the week before, I had seen some posts on the Jewelry Design and Techniques group that talking about scrap copper, and a lot of wire wrappers, they end up with scrap copper. Now, I teach some classes, and I end up with quite a bit. I mean, and my wife, she makes gem trees, so she ends up with quite a bit of scrap. So, what do you do with it? I mean, you can incorporate it into some of your jewelry. Maybe make a eclectic piece with all of them. Or, I did a casting live stream a while back on casting with silver, and I had been wanting to cast with some copper, and I didn't know what I'd do as far as the live stream. So what I decided to do was just give me a copy today. Got with Cheryl and said, well, I don't want people to have withdrawals, so we'll go ahead and cast with copper. And I'm going to do strictly bean cast. Now I did do some other casting. Let me swap the cameras here, and I'll take you over now. You got to not mind the messy shop, because we've just finished up a workshop here with some critters, and somewhere, let's see. Well, I've definitely disorganized, that's for sure. Maybe I lost them. No, I think they were back over here where I was. It's kind of hard to keep track of things when you're all the time going around. But what I did was that my grandson was over. He'd always want to make some kind of jewelry. So we took and did some broom straw castings with copper. But I was wanting to do some bean casting. For some reason, I just like them, the way that they're made. So I decided I'd do it today. Now what we're going to do is we've got our setup over here. We've got a crucible. It's already been seasoned and everything. And now I went out in the shop and I get my cutting torch, because I can adjust the heat up on it, no problem. Now what we're going to cast into today, we're going to cast in beans. So over here, we've got a couple of kinds of beans here. I'm going to do these black beans, which they're smaller, and I'm going to cast with these pinto beans, which are a little bit larger. So it'll be a little bit different in design. So what we're going to do is, we want water in here, but we don't want don't want it to run over. So I'm going to put these beans in here. And I've let them soak for about 15 minutes just so they don't smoke a lot. I don't want them to swell up real big. And don't soak them in your can that you're going to put them in, because if you do, you're going to end up, they'll swell tight in there and you'll have a hard time getting them out. They'll probably do that anyway. But we're just going to put all these beans in here. We don't want to lose it. Have any that don't get to go. Feel deprived if they don't get to go. Now, we don't want to fill this all the way up with water, but we want to water just below the beans. That way they're not going to be trying to float and get out of the way. They'll kind of stay there, but that water's going to cool your metal off. So anyway, that's the way we're going to go there. Now what we're going to do is we're going to heat this up. Now I'm going to talk about safety, because this is really hot metal, and when you're dealing with hot metal like that, if it gets on you, you're talking 3rd-degree burns right off. And the flame, you're talking well over 2,000-degree flame on there. We're going to use some heavy-duty welding gloves. I'm going to use them in one hand now. I'm good working around this, but I don't want heat to transfer down on my handle on my crucible and end up taking and setting up a problem for me. Okay, we get one more block here, because that way I can do all this up here on my workbench, and I don't really have to worry about. Okay, we got our beans, we got our water. Now we need a flame. Got a little leak there too. Okay, now you don't want a hot flame. You don't want the hot flame like this. You want to have a reduced flame. So let your point come on out there. A little softer point. Now, what you want to do is you want to heat this up. Now, this is a hot torch. Most torches aren't this hot, but I can heat this copper up a whole lot faster with this torch. And notice I'm standing up. Now, I'm not going to do this while I'm sitting down, because you have the possibility of it getting in your lap. But with any type of metal, when I'm doing it this way, I take and I like a hot flame. I could use my other torch, but it'd take quite a while to melt it. But it will. Your regular torch will melt it, that you use for most of your metal work. But I'm just going to kind of heat this up, get it all nice and melted. And I like to pour a pretty good bit of metal at one time, so I kind of fill it up good. It's always better about an ounce, 2 ounces of metal. Now this is just a little crucible, but as you can see, it's getting molten. It hadn't all got to good temperature. We'll pull this flame out of here in a minute so you can see that. Okay, almost got it. Got one little piece here that still. Okay, now what I've got molten metal, as you can see. It's good and hot. Now I want to keep it hot, and I want to keep it hot all the way out from when I pour. I'm going to try to turn here without burning my camera woman. And I really like to pour a little more than this, but we'll go with this much. And while it's good and hot, I'm just going to pour it all at once. Okay. Now that is definitely hot. That's definitely hot metal. Make sure your torch is laying somewhere where it's not going. Now what we're going to do, well, this is, here we're going to add some more water, cool it down. We don't want it all smoking. And I'm putting some more water over here this side. Make sure that you don't just pick this can up because it gets hot. It gets hot. Now I've got it in a lot of water. And if you've ever done this before, you'll know it doesn't smell good either, burnt beans. But what I'll do is, and there might be some little pieces in there too, but I'm just going to pop these beans out of here.
Your hand.
I'm just going to pop these beans out of this piece. I had a pick somewhere and I think I lost it.
You set it over there.
Okay, there we go. Now I'll just get these out of here. So I leave these holes or openings where the beans were. And you don't have to clean it right away. I'm just doing this because we're here, because you can let them soak more and they'll just, they'll get real soft, and then you can just take them all right out. Now there's one that's kind of off in there that might be a little bit of a problem. So it might have to soak and come out, or take it out after I do a little cutting on it. But anyway, now we've got a strange cast here. And what I normally do is I pick me out places that I like, whatever I think I'm comfortable with, and I saw it off. And I'll saw this into a bunch of different pieces. And if you don't like the way it turned out, all you got to do is heat it up and go again. Now, we're going to do this again. This time we're going to use some pinto beans. And don't eat these after you use them now. I'm going to tell you, I don't think anybody would want to, but it's best. It'd be best not to. But like I said in the other video, you can cast with just about anything. It's anything that's rock salt, spaghetti, break up spaghetti. You can do it with broom straw. You can do it with pine needles. Now we're going to do this the same way. I'm going to dump this water out. Now sometimes there's more than one cast in there, so you need to go through your stuff after you get finished and make sure. And anybody that's familiar with panning gold or anything like that, that's kind of the way you do it with this, because your metal's going to be a whole lot hotter than heavier than your beans. So okay, we have one little one here. I'm going to say it's not anything spectacular, but it's there too. But that's why I say it when you get finished, just pan your stuff out. Now I'm gonna set these aside, and I'm gonna get this other one. Now what we'll do, I'll check, see if we got any comments, any questions. Okay, I'm gonna see. Let's see. Yeah, well, if you missed the beginning, don't worry about it. Yeah, rice would work just as well. It'd give you the same texture. I don't know about, you can carve charcoal maybe and cast it or something, but that might be a little bit different. Let's see. Let's see. I did pour it in the beans. Let's see here. I can't go back to see all my comments, so I'm and I'm not going to swap pages because at least I have comments today. That's always one of the things. But you can cast in all kind of things. What is it? Cuttlefish bone, and you can cast in your blocks and the blocks that you use on your bench. If you want to, you can carve. I've seen where they cast in them. You can cast in almost anything. And each one you cast in, it's going to be different. So you can melt coated copper. Now, what I'm going to say is, and that was something that I didn't say. I'm going to swap cameras here so we can maybe see a little bit. Okay. Now, right down here, if you'll look, now don't take coated wire. Don't take pieces of coated wire, plastic. Take the plastic off it. Make sure if you've got tape or something, maybe you was doing some people whenever they wire wrap, they tape their ends or something. Make sure your tape's off. But we didn't talk about. We talked about in the last one, and we probably need to talk about that. When you take and cast, you take and you use borax. Borax is in your flux normally, but what you would do is, especially if you have some copper that's coated, because that's going to be an impurity. And you don't have to buy a big bunch of borax like this. This is the way I got mine a long time ago. But take you a little borax and just put it in your crucible. And borax, now if you watch the other one, borax is what we use to season the crucible. Whenever you get a new one, it's not seasoned. It looks just like the outside of it here does. And your metal will stick to it. You put some borax in there, heat it up, move it all around so it's coated. That's what you call seasoning. Once you've seasoned it, then you can take and melt your metal in. Now, when I melt the wire, I take and bend it up small as I can and everything because I want to get as much volume. Now, be careful. I can feel a little bit of heat on here still. It takes it a long time to cool down. But I put as much metal as I can in here. Now I'm going to heat this up, and then I'm going to put the rest of this little bit in here so I really have a full container of metal. You can see how quick this heats. This torch it's a journeyman cutting torch. Now, I do have some brazing tips or soldering tips for it, and they're smaller, and I could use them. But instead of worrying about changing out, I just decided to stay with this one. Now you can take, if you have any pieces that's out over the edge or something you're worried about they're not going to melt in there, you can rake them in with your solder pick. Now I'm going to melt that down, and then I'll take my heat away, and I'm going to add some more, so I get a little bit more. Like I say, I like to cast with a lot of material, but the borax that's in there now, some of this copper's a little tarnished. It might have some fire scale on it. So, it's different things that's happened to it. And if you want a nice shiny piece, and if you have some copper that's got tarnish resistant coating on it, then like I said, just add a little borax, and as those impurities come out. And if you have a lot now, you'll actually see them floating on the top of your puddle of metal. But we're going to do this one just like the other one. We're going to get all our stuff melted. And it's kind of hard with to capture it here. Now, Cheryl said she was kind of scared because of the heat, but it's really nothing to be scared of as long as you take precautions. Make sure you know that you're thinking about safety the whole time while you're doing this. Now these crucibles won't last forever. Now I've got a little wind coming in the door, and I need just a little bit more flame, a little bit more heat, so I'm going to crank that up a little bit more because I want this good and hot. I want this puddle to be nice and round and not trying to, when I'm finished, I want it to move around just easy. It's kind of floating on a layer of material underneath there. Now I'm going to bring my can over here. I'm going to get it good and hot again. And you want to make sure it's hot on your pour spout too, because otherwise it'll cool down before it goes in. Now what I'll do, I'm just going to pour this the same way. It's all at once. Okay. And then we'll shut this off. And boy, I'll tell you, that smoke, some nice smelling stuff. I can still hear it bubbling in there. I'm gonna bring it over here, and I don't want a hot piece of metal to come down and land in the bottom of the pan now. And I poured a little to the side. You can see it stuck to the side here, which that would be a problem because it will bond to that side. You want to try to pour in the center. And now I'm doing this for jewelry now, and I'm gonna say anytime you're dealing with a flame like that, it's shaded glasses would be good. I just have my glasses on, but the shaded glasses, your eyes wouldn't have to adjust to the light. It's not that it'll damage them, but it'd be like being in the sunlight. But now what we've got is, and now this can be cut down and made into different jewelry pieces by itself. It could be a good conversation piece just for art sculpture or something. But what I'm trying to say is you have so many options, and like some people just comment, can you use rice or whatever. Each different thing is going to have a different. Let me bring this over here. These pieces. Now, once you heat on your brick, they're going to be hot. Now, I use a solder pad underneath, and whenever I'm working, I get the hot side, get it warmed up, so I don't burn myself when I'm messing with it. I'll turn it over. The other side is just completely cool, and my solder pad will keep it from damaging. But you can see on the background, you can see better. And that's what we come up with. I like this cast here a lot better because it's a lot more open. This one here is closed up as it is. It didn't do quite as well as I'd like, but I'll saw off what I like, and if I don't like the rest of it, in fact, part of the copper that I poured in the first one was copper from a different cast. So let's see. Yeah, that maybe it's a dinosaur. I don't know. Yeah. But maybe I don't see it, but it might be. but yeah, like I say, it's now this borax in the your washing detergent borax. Now I don't know how pure the washing detergent is. Let me swap cameras here. I don't know how pure it is, because whenever you start dealing with buying the chemical itself, it's quite a bit different as far as it's going to be a lot more pure. And I wouldn't want to say, okay, borax is all right. You can go on eBay or Google it, and you can find borax a lot of places. A lot of times drugstores carry stuff, different things like that. Let's see if I missed anything. Any type of bean does work. I find, a lot of times they say soak them for 30 minutes or so. Certain beans draw water quicker and they get softer quicker. And I like, when I cast, I like something small. So I pick a bean that's kind of small. But as you can see with the situation here, it's not necessarily this here. The black bean's a little smaller. Now it didn't do so great. The pinto bean's a little bigger, and it's got a lot of different character in it. So you might you might make 3 or 4 different pieces. You just cut off what you don't see in that piece, and use the rest. And if you don't like a part of it, just, like I say, recast it. So, but yeah, any bean, like I say, spaghetti, I wasn't going to do any spaghetti because I actually didn't have any, but no, I hadn't planned to. I just want to do some bean casting right now. I might try rice. The only thing I'd say about rice was the particles are so small, so it could, well, it still could come out as good. I can't say. Let's see. Now the crucibles, I kind of went over that in the last video, but I purchased mine off of eBay. You can get the I think this is a 250 gram crucible. I think you don't need a big one. This one here is I don't know, it's about 2.5 inches across or something. It's not real big. In the handle, you can get them both for under $20 for the set. You can buy extra crucibles. Now this one here still got a lot of life, and the easiest way to tell how good a shape it is look at the back side of it, because when you whenever you take and heat it up over a period of time, and I don't have my other crucible in here that I had whenever I did the first video, but it had cracks in the bottom, and it was still held together solid, so I could finish my video. And it was seasoned, it was coated with borax on the inside, so it had that coat, and nothing was running through it. But it wasn't far from deteriorating to where it would have been a safety hazard. So, but these will cast quite a bit, but you'll know when you need to replace it. If it develops a crack, then it's going to need to be replaced. And there's no risk. There's no reason to take any risks on safety whenever it comes to casting. And let's see. Yeah, you could any time you cast with anything, and it's like rice. We got in this one here, there's a bean caught up in the middle. Of course, what I normally do is I'll saw through the sections. But if you had rice, I don't know how many you'd have in there. When you do broom straw, you end up with a lot of times broom straw pieces are inside of there, but they're usually long, and you can take and you can catch them with the end of a pick or tweezers and pull them out, or you can blow them out, or whatever, so you can clean them out. But if you got a lot of rice inside, I don't know how that would end up doing. But
Right.
you would, I mean, because if it's coated all the way with metal, it'd be impossible to get it out. But anyway, I hope this would cure your fix for this weekend. Because, like I say, me and Cheryl, we're having a hard time coming up with things, and I've been pretty busy this past week dealing with the club stuff. We found us a new clubhouse, and I've been the one that's been having to oversee that. So I've been dealing with all the stuff about buying a house, and then dealing with board and meetings and everything else. So it's put me behind. And then yesterday we had a critter workshop over here, so that took up another day. And it's kind of hard to come up with an idea of what somebody wants. We can guess. This one here was just based on the fact of seeing somebody posting a bunch of scrap. And I knew mine was piling up, and I had planned to cast with it. I actually have some brass wire too, that from different projects and stuff, that all being cast into some brass, or maybe broom straw. See how that goes. But don't limit yourself. You see something. I know someone watched the broom straw cast and they did it. They made a nice pendant. It's in the challenge post for the October challenge, and that's the whole idea of this group, is to get people, give them inspiration, so that they'll take whatever they learn here or see, and go on from there. And that was really nice. I like to see that kind of stuff. It makes it all worthwhile. But if there's some of you out there that have the knowledge, and it doesn't have to be a lot, and believe me, last week I probably had the most technical difficulties with my feed. I had such an echo before, and then whenever it come back, I didn't have enough bandwidth, so it's so jumpy and everything else. And I try to show this stuff, but you got to work with what you have. And I want some of y'all to realize that. Don't think that you get up there and you're going to do a live feed and everything's going to go smooth. But then again, understand that these people that do this, that they take their time out to do it. So take and encourage them. You don't have to encourage me. I'm going to keep on as long as I can find something to do. But it's the big problem for me is finding something to do, because like most of us, we've got a lot of stuff that goes on in our lives, and I'm pretty heavy into our club, and for the next probably till the end of the month, it's going to be that way, I figure. Yeah, I don't think we'd want to pour copper into anthills, but yeah, they do good sculptures, but normally on that they use aluminum, and I guess if you had enough old aluminum cans, that'd be something to do. I wouldn't want to be the one to have to try to heat it up. And let's see if there's anything else. I had talked about in the first video that I did, that's further down in the news feed. There's one that's on broom straw casting, and if you try to find those old videos without having to stream down, just get up in your search bar in at the top of the group and just search and put in casting or whatever, and it'll bring up the posts that have that in there. But we talked about polishing up. I think it was in that one that we talked about using a rotary tool, either a Fordham or a Dremel, and you could get into the little places. And I actually use my uh, polisher, my arbor polisher with some I can't even think bristle diamond wheels on it, and they work real good to get in a lot of the areas. And then I always tumble it, use the multimedia jewelry stainless steel media, and it does a real good job. Just use a little dishwashing detergent like I use Dawn, but you can use any of them. I just kind of like Dawn for mine. And let's see. Okay, well that looks like I've got most of the questions. If there's any more, I'll answer them, as I catch them on the feed. But appreciate y'all coming and watching it. And until next week, have fun.